Imagine turning on your favorite radio station one day and finding nothing but silence. That's exactly what happened at Energy FM 106.7 when their powerhouse duo suddenly went quiet. Today, we're diving into the phenomenon of Karjack, how they transformed Philippine radio and the void they left behind.
You know, it's fascinating how Energy FM became such a cultural touchstone in Philippine radio. They weren't just another station, they were redefining what radio could be in the digital age.
And at the center of it all was Karjack, right? Can you break down how this partnership came to be?
Well, it started when John Gembele, better known as Papa Jackson, made the bold move to join Energy FM. He wasn't just coming in as another DJ, he stepped into the role of station manager, bringing his signature style of storytelling and connection.
Wait, so he was both on-air talent and running things behind the scenes?
Exactly. And then when Gandang Kara joined the station, something magical happened. Their chemistry was undeniable, and they created this show called Karjack that just connected with people on a different level.
What made their approach so special?
They understood something crucial, that radio isn't just about playing music. It's about creating genuine connections. Their shows became this safe space where listeners could share their stories, their heartbreaks, their victories.
And the numbers really backed that up, didn't they?
Absolutely. Energy FM was winning awards left and right. They bagged the most outstanding and trusted FM station in the 2022 Asia's Golden Icon Awards, and even won Global Iconic Radio Broadcasting Station of the Year.
You know what's interesting? This was happening at a time when everyone thought radio was dying.
That's actually a fascinating point. According to Edison Research's 2025 data, radio is seeing this unexpected resurgence, especially among younger listeners. About 16% of Gen Z's daily audio time is spent with AM and FM radio.
Really? That's surprising given all the streaming options available.
It is, but it makes sense when you look at what Gen Z wants from their media. The research shows that 86% of them use audio to help boost their mood, and 67% see it as an escape from daily life.
And that's exactly what Karjack provided, right?
Precisely. Their show wasn't just entertainment, it was therapy, companionship, community. They created this space where listeners felt heard and understood.
Which makes what happened next even more impactful.
Yeah, the sudden silence. In mid-October 2025, something changed. The voices were gone, replaced by endless music and ads.
No warning? No farewell show?
None. October 13th was Papa Jackson's final day as station manager. For someone whose voice dominated the airwaves with shows like Hello STG and True Love Conversations, the silence was, well, deafening.
And how did the fans react?
The fan community was devastated. You have to understand, Karjack wasn't just a radio show. It had evolved into this whole ecosystem of content across platforms.
What do you mean by ecosystem?
Well, they had this massive following across social media, YouTube channels dedicated to their content, even fan pages tracking their every move. The Karjack fan Miley became this incredibly engaged community.
And they were winning awards for this digital presence too, weren't they?
Yes, they were. In fact, just before everything ended, they won the VP Choice Awards for Best FM Radio Station and Best Radio and Social Media Tandem.
That timing, it makes it even more mysterious, doesn't it?
It does. And what's interesting is how the announcement came, not through a big press release or on-air statement, but through a quiet YouTube video upload.
Almost like they were trying to soften the blow?
Perhaps. But it also speaks to how the media landscape has changed. Even traditional radio has had to adapt to this digital-first world.
Speaking of change, how has Energy FM been doing since then?
Well, they've been struggling to find their footing. The station shifted to an all-music format, with only ads keeping the transmitter on.
That's quite a change from their previous identity.
It really is. Under Papa Jackson's leadership, Energy FM had this unique identity, quirky, emotional, unapologetically massa, yet sincere. That's not easy to replace.
You mentioned earlier about radio's resurgence among young listeners. How does this situation fit into that trend?
It's actually a perfect example of what young listeners are looking for. The Edison research shows that Gen Z craves authenticity and connection in their media consumption.
And Karjack provided that in spades, right?
Absolutely. Their approach aligned perfectly with what the data shows, that 61% of Gen Z says audio positively impacts their mental health. Karjack wasn't just entertainment, they were emotional support for many listeners.
Which makes their sudden departure even more impactful.
Exactly. It wasn't just losing a radio show. For many listeners, it was losing a daily source of comfort and connection.
Have there been any hints about what's next for either of them?
The future remains uncertain, but what's clear is the impact they've had on Philippine radio and how they showed that even in a digital age, radio can still create meaningful connections.
Do you think we'll see another phenomenon like Karjack?
It's hard to say. What made Karjack special wasn't just their format or their content, it was this genuine chemistry and connection they had with their audience.
And that's not something you can easily replicate, is it?
No, it's not. It's like their old slogan, "Wag mo sabihin radio, sabihin mo energy." They weren't just a radio show, they were a movement.
Let's talk about the fan community. How are they coping?
The Karjack fan Miley remains active online, sharing memories and keeping the community alive. There are YouTube channels dedicated to archiving their best moments.
So even though the show is gone, the impact lives on?
Exactly. And that's perhaps their greatest legacy, showing that radio isn't just about broadcasting, it's about building lasting connections.
What lessons do you think other radio stations can learn from this?
The main lesson is that authenticity matters more than ever. In an age of algorithms and playlists, people still crave genuine human connection.
And that's something Karjack delivered consistently, right?
Absolutely. Whether it was through their heartfelt advice segments or their natural banter, they never felt scripted or forced.
Do you think this marks the end of an era for Philippine radio?
In some ways, yes, but it also shows that radio can still be relevant and powerful when it focuses on creating genuine connections with listeners.
Any final thoughts on the Karjack legacy?
They proved that in an age of endless digital content, sometimes all people really want is to feel heard and understood. That's a lesson that goes beyond radio.
And maybe that's why their sudden silence hit so hard?
Exactly. It wasn't just about losing a radio show, it was about losing that daily connection, that sense of belonging they created.
What do you think the future holds for radio in the Philippines?
The data suggests radio isn't going anywhere. If anything, young listeners are rediscovering it. But success will depend on creating that authentic connection Karjack mastered.
So in a way, their legacy lives on through the blueprint they created?
Precisely. They showed that radio isn't just about playing the right songs, it's about creating moments that matter, conversations that connect, and communities that last.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Sometimes the most powerful voices are the ones we miss the most when they fall silent. Thanks for listening.